Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another fantastic edition of The Lap Down. I am your host, Greg Farmer, and with me tonight is Ryan, JP, and Eli. How are we doing tonight, fellas?
Doing fantastic.
Oh, we're doing fantastic. Surviving.
Yeah, same here. That sounds about right. Um, but I would like to. Sorry, I was trying to type something there. So we're just gonna jump right into it because we have a few breaking news stories. We saw the other day that got posted on social media. Josh Berry will not be in the 21 car for the Wood Brothers in 2027. Said that he was notified just a couple of weeks ago, and they were, I guess, waiting on the right time to make that announcement. And then just today, it was announced that Jesse Love will be in the 21 car for Wood Brothers Racing in 2027, moving from the RCR Chevy to the Wood Brothers Team Penske affiliated Ford in 2027. Starting with Ryan, how do we feel about that one?
I don't love this one. Ultimately, I feel like the Wood Brothers car is really just kind of a question mark as to, okay, how good is that equipment? Because we've really seen for about the last decade and even more so into the next gen era that no matter who's really been in that car, whether it was Harrison Burton before this, Josh Berry, Um, trying to remember who was in it before Harrison Burton. But yeah, it really has
Uh,
not been
before
a.
before Harrison Burton, I believe it was Matt DiBenedetto or Ryan Blaney.
Okay, it goes all the way. Okay, it goes all the way back to DiBenedetto. Paul Menard was also in there too.
Yep, because he almost won the Clash when Jimmy Johnson won it that year.
Yeah, but yeah, there was just there's been a lot of drivers to take the reins, and again, it just has not been an overly competitive car. Yeah, going back to Um, yeah, going back all the way to really outside of the Ryan Blaney year, it really hasn't been a competitive car at any point in like the last 2 decades. Like the one year that Penske really needed to develop Ryan Blaney, suddenly their equipment jumped way up, and then it kind of started to settle back down. The Benedetto years weren't terrible. The Paul Menard years were serviceable, and then again, as the new next gen car came in, everything kind of just settled even further down.
Yeah, Harrison Burton had that fluke win over Kyle Busch at Daytona in 2024. Got them their 100th win in
Yeah,
the
and
Cup
then Josh
Series,
Berry
and
got
then
101.
got 101 at Vegas last year, playing some good strategy. But I mean, he held off some of the best for that one, so I'll give him props for that one. But I'll ask my question after everybody else goes. Ryan, you got anything else to add?
Yeah, my only other thing is just kind of, yeah, I mean, those two wins, both fairly recent, are good signs, but it definitely felt like it was one too little too late in terms of trying to save either one of their abilities to stay in that car. And then two, even despite those wins, the average, like their average finish in those cars were atrociously low. Like, I mean, they still were both floating right
Yeah,
around what, 25th to 30th in points every single season.
yeah. It's not a good year for Josh Berry. I'll say that. Let me see here where he's actually at in the standings. He is
Yeah, and I know
30th
he
in the
made,
standings.
yeah, some kind of my point though. I mean, because I know a lot of us gave plenty of grief to Harrison Burton over the years he was in that car, but I think you can look to the same issues of that Josh Berry is dealing with a very similar type of issues in that same car. Both were able to find a
Yeah.
win on strategy, but
J
neither one really controlled their win.
right. JP, what about you?
So I have a very interesting take on this. Um, so Josh Bailey, you know, why he hasn't performed, uh, I, I feel like, the Wood Brothers, um, might be taking a step back with Jesse Love. Uh, you know, Jesse Love has, I'll say, earned the right to be a cup driver, but I did not see him leaving RCR for the cup opportunity.
I think it was pretty obvious
Yeah.
after he didn't get the nod at to take over the Kyle Busch machine at Charlotte that RCR wasn't really behind him going forward and made it seem like he was
Well, I mean,
close
it
to a
does.
deal.
Yeah, but it does come as a shock that Chevy let him get away.
Well, but then the
And
question
like
of okay,
being
what Cup Chevy rides were going to be available this cycle?
that's true.
Or and
No,
to
no,
their
Yeah.
credit,
that's
outside
true.
of outside of an Alex Bowman retirement, what Chevy seats are open in the near future? I mean, maybe Chastain leaves Chevy, but that would be an even bigger surprise than Love leaving Chevy. So I don't
Uh,
really see
I don't know.
I don't see
Speak.
too many Chevy seats even opening up over the next few years again, unless RCR might rotate through if Dylan decides to step away, or while trying to find the Kyle Busch replacement. Yeah, RCR may struggle for a little bit to try and find their next guy. But besides, like the RCR seats,
Wait. Did you say RCR struggle? Did you did you say RCR struggle for a little bit? They've been struggling for years.
no, I said they may struggle for a little bit trying to find a Kyle Busch replacement. They may still struggle beyond that, but I'm talking about specifically in reference to finding a Kyle Busch replacement. They may go through 2 or 3 different options. So if we're looking for a Chevy Cup
Gotcha.
seat that is available, the
Yeah.
the RCR seats I could see rotating. Those have been stable seats, at least in terms of driver year over year performance. We've had the same 2 drivers at RCR since Kyle joined. But I could see RCR kind of devolving
Yeah.
into a year over year changing of the guard more frequently than they were in years past.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Alex Bowman, we'll get to that in just a minute. But Eli, do you have anything to add if you're able to?
Yeah, so pardon my voice. Normally I'm in a pretty argumentative mood and I like feedback from everybody, but tonight I'm just gonna throw some stuff out there. Um I'll start with Ryan Dyer's comment of going towards the Austin Hill route. Well, from what I've been told and the way contracts and everything play out and factoring in age and everything, um, Austin Hill is above the age of 21 years old. Jesse Love turned 21 years old this year, from my understanding. and to be able to carry the sponsors that Kyle Busch has, including the Rebel Bourbon sponsor and the Zone Nicotine sponsor, which carried more than 50% of the season, you have to be 21 years old or above 21 years old of age to be able to carry those sponsors. Obviously, we've seen that's a big deal in the past with Chase Elliott winning the pole award, and he wasn't able to hold the Coors Light pole flag. So that's where a lot of that speculation comes in. But from what I've been told, that is the reason behind that. That's why that they did not select him to run those races. Why didn't they do it part time with Cheddar's, Bank Ozark, Lucas Oil? I don't know, but that's what I've been told on that aspect. As far as Jesse Love taking over the RCR ride, I'll say this. It it's an unfortunate problem that you very rarely run into in this industry is we have too many young drivers in a cup seat right now. There's not really a whole lot else for him to go. He's not getting a Hendrick ride. Um, I even said this a couple podcasts ago, and then unfortunately, it was before the tragedy of Kyle Busch. But I said that Kyle Busch wasn't leaving RCR, and sure enough, that came out to be true. He wasn't gonna leave RCR. Um, so with Jesse Love, yeah, he won a championship with RCR in the No App series for sure. The legitimacy of it, you can debate all you want. I know that it has a lot of controversial opinions on him going to Cup though solely and with the Wood brothers. I mean, and I'm not debating this. This is just my opinion on it. With it going to at Daytona with Harrison Burton winning that race, I don't believe that was a fluke win. It was an unfortunate series of events and an unfortunate series of pushes that happened. It wasn't an outright fluke win, so I don't agree with that. The Vegas win, I would debate that was more fluke in that Josh Berry machine, but that's neither here and there. But I mean, I hope the best for Love. I really do. He's done a lot for the RCR camp, and I really hope the best for him. What is he going to do in that 21 machine? Unfortunately, I don't see a whole lot more than what Josh Berry was able to do. Only time will tell. Time is the biggest teller, of course, in the sport, but that's really the only thing we can speculate on is just time. I mean, what can that 21 machine provide, and how will not Josh Berry, how will Jesse Love adapt to the next gen car? Because obviously that's kind of been a rough switch over. We've seen that with a couple different of drivers, especially Noah Gragson being one of those drivers. So we'll just have to see on that. But that's all I got for that. Thank you.
Oh, you're good. Thank
I just
you.
wanted to go back to something
No,
that
it's actually
I heard
there
you
was a couple
mentioned
things that you
just a
brought
little
up there
bit
that
here.
actually
And yeah, we
segued
really
into
do
my
have
next
kind of
point.
the
So thank you for that, Eli.
we're kind of
You mentioned the
cursed with
age
good luck
thing,
right now, where we've got a
and you
lot of
mentioned a certain
drivers
driver,
who are currently very
that
young.
being Noah Gragson.
I mean, even amongst like the established
I saw
stars,
online
it's like
the
okay,
leading
they're all
rumor
still very young.
for
Elliott
the
still has a
RCR,
decade and a half probably
I
in
guess
him
you could
before
say
he starts to
8
fall off.
33
Yeah.
for 2027.
And then we've got
The
so many
leading driver
drivers
for that seat
that are
is Noah Gragson,
so early in their careers
because of
that it's really hard to see
one,
that we're
his
going to see a
age
whole
and
lot
the
of
sponsors that
turnover
they have, and two,
unless we
his
either start getting
connection
very
to,
impatient with
Bass Pro
drivers
Shops.
waiting for success.
So I would like to get
Like
your
if we start
thoughts
being
on
like,
that
okay, if you
before
don't
I
win
go
a
into my
championship within your
kind of
first two
somewhat
seasons with
big
a
question
team
on this subject,
getting
starting
booted,
with,
which would be
I guess Eli, go
extremely
ahead.
impatient.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt anybody. Yeah, no, so you are right from what I've heard. Obviously, the age playing a factor in it, but with Bass Pro, the only thing that I have that has been kind of contradictory to that would be how much money does Bass Pro want to shell out for sponsorship, right? Um, Obviously, they've been with Austin for a while. Looking back in the sport, of course, they were with Martin. They're still with Martin in certain degrees. Um, you can walk into your local Bass Pro shop and find certain Bass Pro branded merchandise with MTJ on it. So it kind of comes a marketing standpoint. What money do they have to shell out? From what I have been told, that is the most credible rumor. Not saying things can't change in a rapid heartbeat, because they can. Um, but from a financial and looking at a marketing standpoint, and unfortunately that's what you have to look at in this current day and time. I know it's fun to throw out drivers and stuff, but where the money goes is often where the driver goes. That is the most credible standpoint that I have heard. So that is a really good point out from you, Greg. The only thing that I would maybe say to that point is, Bass Pro, I mean, they were there was a rumor floating around in MTJ's last year that Bass Pro would also leave the sport, and of course they didn't leave the sport. So it leaves a lot of question marks for sure, um, with their financial standpoint in the sport. But yeah, I would absolutely say that that is a good rumor to follow for sure.
What was the rumor? Can you?
Uh,
I've been
uh,
obviously cutting in and out.
no, you're good. The rumor is that Noah Gragson possibly moving to Richard Childress Racing in 2027 due to his age and the sponsors that they have and his connection to Bass Pro Shops.
All right. Yeah. The thing I was saying before, the last time I got cut off, I don't know if it got mentioned. I heard Eli talking about it, but yeah, we really do have a situation where there's just so many young guys in the sport at this point that unless you start getting really impatient with them, it's hard to really see a situation where we don't have a very similar Cup Series, say 5, even possibly 10 years from now. I think it's very hard to see us having a drastically different Cup Series. Like, let's say we fast forward 10 years. Like, who do we have retire? Like, Hamlin, definitely. Keselowski, probably. Logano, maybe. And then, aside from those three, 10 years from now, I think we have most of the same Cup drivers.
Yeah, I agree. What about you,
Which, again, it's
JP?
not a bad thing because they're all really good. It's just a matter of not having a lot of spots for more up and coming drivers trying to make their name.
Right.
All right.
What about you,
Good.
JP?
So anyway, I I think as far as people retiring, I see Austin Dillon retiring, so that Noah can have that sponsorship and come over to RCR. But I don't see that happening for a couple more years, like maybe 2029.
Okay. Well, no, that actually that sounds reasonable.
Sorry, Greg. I'm not trying to interrupt you. Uh, that is one thing I forgot to include. I'm sorry, Greg. I did not mean to interrupt you, buddy.
No, you're good. You're good, buddy.
That is one other credible rumor that I have been told by someone in the RCR camp, is if Austin Dillon, because Austin Dillon, there is one sponsor that he holds that he shared with the KB group at the time that was 21 plus. That was BetMGM. Um, he would be. I mean, if Austin were to retire right now and someone to fill that seat, there would be no 21-year spot or 21 years old sponsorship deal. But as far as him retiring, there's been no official confirmation or even talks about it. That's just
Well,
been speculation in the RCR camp. I did forget to add that. So like I said, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I did forget to add that.
well, you say there's no 21 plus. I mean, obviously, I think we're all kind of assuming that there's a good chance Austin Hill could get the 33 slash, yeah, the Kyle Busch seat.
Or Noah Gregson.
Yeah, or Noah
That's
Gragson.
the rumor.
Yeah, so either one of them though would give you an over 21 person that isn't just Austin Dillon.
Now, Jesse Love would have been able to. I mean, he is 21 years old now, but they would like to have those things finalized from a marketing standpoint. But of course, when they are 21, because they don't want someone holding a beer can when they're 20 and then turning 21 3 months later.
Yeah.
That's a
I mean,
huge issue.
and that would actually be a really cool way to honor Kyle Busch, though, because that was actually something that Kyle Busch ran into in his truck series effort. Was that
Right.
he ended up actually getting kicked out of a truck ride because what was it? Cigarette brand he was sponsoring it,
It
being sponsored by
was.
as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
It was, and I mean, I look at this too, and Greg, I mean, I'm sorry for sidetracking his brother. That's on me.
By all
You
means.
know, I look at the car that the lap down group was sponsored with. We were with an alcohol group, and I didn't realize. I'll just put it this way: I didn't realize the situations that go through this. I didn't realize that there was all the ju- just the general involvement from firearms, alcohol, and tobacco control. I did not realize that there was those kinds of moderations within the sport. So that is definitely something that people have to look at. I know a lot of the old people like to, just say, well, it's just a beer, it's just a cigarette. But when it comes from a legal and marketing standpoint, you absolutely have to look at that stuff. And unfortunately, I get it. Kyle Busch went from M&Ms and Skittles and the Mars Corporation to, THC and alcohol and nicotine and lawyers. I get it, and I know the joke's there, but from a marketing standpoint, it's an absolute headache.
Yeah. For real. But that
Yeah, I mean,
that
I can't tell you the number of diecasts I have of beer companies where they've got that plastic base like glued on there.
yeah. Well, I mean, you guys remember the old Dale Jr. cars? It said Dale Earnhardt Jr. on it instead of Budweiser because it had to be age appropriate for some locations to sell them.
Or any of us who've played the NASCAR Heat games and had the Brad car instead of the Miller Lite car back in the day.
Yep. But
Yeah, if you hadn't gone through an age verified yourself.
yeah, but on top of all of that, before we move into our next segment, where do you guys think Josh Berry lands in 2027? Does he stay in Cup? Does he take a step back into the O'Reilly series? Maybe drop down into trucks because he never ran a truck at all. Where do you guys think he lands? Starting with Ryan.
Well, the weird thing about the truck, the O'Reilly series, is that Junior Motorsports is pretty well filled up, and unless you're promoting somebody up, I don't think any of those drivers are doing bad enough to warrant getting kicked out. And I don't really think, and I'm perfectly fine to be proven wrong on this, I don't think Barry brings all that much more sponsorship than any of the other guys, because I know both Quapple and Caruth have been on part-time schedules, essentially because of lack of sponsorship. But
No,
I
no,
don't think
that's
Barry
correct.
brings a whole lot more sponsorship. Like maybe he could bring a tighter relationship with Bass Pro than Quapple, maybe. But beyond that, it's hard to see where they would really gain a lot in terms of kind of promotion. And again, if you're not going to Junior Motorsports, RCR maybe, but beyond that, I mean, it's pretty clear that there is a pretty significant drop off between those top few cars and the field.
Well, okay. Well, before we get to the next person, you actually bring up an interesting point there. That was really good. We know Junior Motorsports is pretty much filled out. Quapple, Caruth, all that, they, bring lack of sponsorship, and so they're running part-time. Or they're splitting a ride with another car, pretty much. Caruth is running the 32 for Jordan Anderson Racing as well. But when Josh Berry was running for Junior Motorsports, Junior actually had to go out and get the sponsorship for him with Tire Pros, which is like a mom and pop company, and Junior paid for the sponsorship. But Ryan, you brought up a pretty good point. Jesse Love is going to the Cup Series next year. That opens up a seat at RCR in the O'Reilly Series.
Well,
Austin Hill is 50-50 on staying in the Cup Series in 2027 in the 33 car, so that technically opens up 2 seats for RCR in the O'Reilly Series next year.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that was kind of brought to my attention when looking at the point standings after this past week, the sheer gap between Allgaier and the field is just insane. Like, yeah, Jesse Love is actually closer to the driver who's closer to ending up in 15th in points than he is to catching Allgaier for the points lead.
Yeah.
The second place driver is closer to ending up in 15th than he is to catching the points leader.
Yeah, well, just remember that reset after the regular season finale.
Oh, I know. But to think he's closer to missing the playoffs as a whole than being the number 1 seed.
Eli, what about you?
So we're talking about not Josh Berry.
No,
We're talking,
we're talking about Josh Berry.
Berry's
yeah,
potential
Josh Berry.
option.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I apologize, guys. So I could give my opinions on it, and that would be fun and all, but I'll just leave this out here, and y'all can do what you want with it. I texted somebody right after the news broke, and I asked them, I said, "Where's Josh Berry go?" And they were within the RCR camp, and they have multiple no apps ties. And this was the response I got. I could read you guys the paragraph I sent, trying to make it seem like I wasn't fishing for information or curious. But I asked the question pretty much, where would he go? And this was the 3 words I got: Ask Dale Jr.
Well, and again, I see that I think Dale Jr. would be the
That's all I
first
got.
and foremost choice. Like, Dale Jr. will have first dibs if Barry doesn't have a cup option. I think it's pretty obvious that Dale Jr. would be the first person he would go to.
Yeah, so...
It's just a matter of whether or not they have a room at the inn for him.
Right. So, well, with that being said, JP, I'll start with you on the next segment. We're going to move on to our next segment, or our next topic. It was announced yesterday. Well, I'll backtrack a little bit. A few weeks ago on Door Bumper Clear, they were talking about Chris Buescher, and I can't remember who the guest was. I think it was a spotter or somebody, and they said that there was a few teams interested in Chris Buescher. Well, it was just announced yesterday that Chris Buescher was signed to a multi-year contract extension with RFK Racing. So Chris Buescher is not going anywhere from the 17 anytime soon. JP, let's get your thoughts on Chris Buescher staying at RFK.
Oh, bravo, Black has left the RFK Racing. You have talent in Chris Buescher. Why get rid of him if he's so talented? I know other teams want him and stuff, but you did the right thing for your company, and this is a very, very early prediction. Chris Buescher will win the championship next year in that 17 car.
Well, hopefully that goes better than your Corey LaJoy prediction for the championship last year.
All right, well, if you highlight over JP's name, I typed in Mr. Bold Prediction, and JP is the king of bold predictions, so we'll roll with that. I'll add on to that. If you look back at the statistics from the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years since Brad Keselowski became a co-owner at RFK, Chris Buescher is the winningest driver in that organization. Brad has won one race, which was Darlington. Ryan Preece has won one race, which was the Clash this year, and it didn't even count for points. So you look at Chris Buescher's stats. I mean, it's there in the pudding, if you want to say. Ryan, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of reasons for both sides that this is really kind of the obvious kind of result. I think there really wasn't, unless there was some more fallout between Cindric's dad and Penske. But again, Cindric's dad has actually been brought back on the IndyCar side of things, has been rehired by Team Penske on the IndyCar side of things. So it seems like that bridge that I know a lot of people were talking about back when Tim Cindric got let go from Penske, a lot of people were like, okay, is this going to affect Cindric? Now he's back, so I don't think we're going to see any real changes there. So it's like, okay, if a Penske ride's not available, Joe Gibbs has more seats than they could possibly fill, including currently they have Brent Cruz developing to potentially take the 19, or not the 19, the 11, I mean, when Hamlin retires. So, yeah, if a Gibbs ride isn't available, a Penske ride isn't available. We've already talked about how there really isn't a Hendrick ride available. Where were you going to find a better car for Chris Buescher than what he's in right now? So, if I'm Chris Buescher, I think that this ride is the best opportunity available. If I'm RFK, you're going to have a really hard time finding a better driver that's hitting the open market over Chris Buescher.
Yep.
So, I mean,
as
I
Rick
think
Allen would say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just makes sense for both sides. Almost makes too much sense for both sides.
Yeah. As Rick Allen would say, the 30-year-old from Prosper, Texas.
Yep.
Eli, what about you?
Ryan is smart. Ryan is really smart, and Ryan, you said really smart things. So I'm gonna just leave that there. Ryan is exactly right. Where does he go? He does. I mean, he doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it's point blank and simple. Especially with the sponsorship deals that were lined up. I think. I hang on. Hang, give me just a second, please.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't
No,
really a
you're.
better spot for him. Wasn't really a better driver for them to go try and get.
Yeah. No.
You can go on to JP. You can go on to JP. Ryan's right. Ryan's right.
No, JP's gave his thoughts, so no, you're good. We'll move into our next topic. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, a couple minutes ago, we mentioned something about Alex Bowman. All right, and this is the last topic before we go into recap. Someone tweeted, and I will name them because I don't care on this podcast. Hit by Numbers on Twitter. They tweeted this, and I quote: Sunday at Pocono, 3 Hendrick drivers fought for the win. The fourth finished 27th. He's 32nd in points, hasn't won since 2024, and he's in a contract year, with a Hendrick prospect already sitting there waiting for the seat. 3 cars fighting for trophies, 1 is fighting for his job. End quote. NASCAR journalist Kaylee Crandall commented on this and said, the prospect is not waiting for the seat. Corey Day is in no rush, and Hendrick Motorsports is not in a rush. Alex Bowman is not fighting for his job. He has a job as long as he wants it. End quote. Now, someone else commented on it. Kevlar Sasquatch. Do with that what you will. Quote, as long as he wants it. Nobody has a job as long as they want it unless their name is on the building. And she said this, and I quote, do y'all think I just make shit up to hear myself talk? That I do not have any idea or information about what could happen or what will happen or how things are in this sport because I don't talk to people or listen when people talk. I'm not here for engagement baiting. So that tells me right there she knows something about the Alex Bowman situation than everybody else. I'm going to go out on a limb and say within the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe hopefully by Daytona, Alex Bowman will have a contract extension at Hendrick Motorsports. Ryan, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing we've all been talking about pretty much since it happened is the biggest question for Bowman is he medically gonna be is he gonna be able to continue? And obviously, quite a few races since, um, as I now that we're a few races removed from the injury, we can kind of start to look at some of his recent performances and say he's had some really good runs. Obviously, Pocono not his best. Yeah, but if you look at some of his other finishes since coming back from it, he had yeah, he had obviously Bristol was a I believe a crash DNF. I don't remember if it was his fault or not. Then
It
he had a
was.
but yeah, then he had a solid run at Kansas inside the top 20, building that speed back up. Then back to back thirds.
Yep, Talladega and Texas.
Yep. Then he got a top 10 at Dover as well. 25th at Watkins Glen. Bad starting position plus a road course. It's hard to make up a ton of spots at the road courses. Then you go to Charlotte. He was another solid day where he moved up the grid quite a bit, and then obviously rain potentially cut that short from even gaining a couple more spots. Nashville, another rough race, but then again bounced back to a decent finish at Michigan. Again, he hasn't been bad, especially for the fact that again he's still definitely dealing with some recurring some lingering results from the diagnosis earlier this year.
Yeah.
Like he is not 100% right now.
No,
Nobody
well,
would say that.
I don't think he's been 100% since his back injury. Because
Yeah,
before his back injury, he was on an absolute heater. He was leading the points. And then he had his back injury. And then, he had flashes in the pan, had that win at the Chicago Street Course. And then, we get into, 2025. He almost won Homestead. And he had decent, good finishes. And then we get into this year, and literally, other than just either poor performance by the car, everything that's happened to him has not been his fault. He's either been out of the car because of the vertigo, or he's been caught up in other people's messes. I truly, honestly think he deserves another shot to prove himself that he belongs in that 48 car. And before we go to the next person, I'm gonna say this real quick. Someone else commented on Kelly Crandall's post. Says, Kelly, with another swing and miss, what has happened to you? You have common sense. You honestly think that when Bowman is let go, you're going to tell everyone that he chose to do so. And she said, how is what I said any different from what others have reported? Bowman will likely make the decision on if he wants to race or not going forward, and every indication from Hendrick and Ally has proven that they support him 100%.
yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Is again, he's got the sponsor support. I mean, that is one of the hardest things for any driver to kind of get, secured is getting that sponsorship, getting the corporate sponsor behind you. Once you do that, yeah, your job security goes way up.
Yeah. What say you, JP?
All right. So I I honestly think, and I hate to even say this, Greg, because I know you're an Alex Bowman fan and you're probably going to hate me for this, but let let's say he does not win a race this year, then LI, the sponsor and the team have said, we're behind you 110%. There's times where people say stuff and then stuff happens, like with him health wise, and then one thing leads to another, and Corey Dave might be in the call, in my opinion.
Well, you may be right. You might be right. But I will say this. Yes, I am a Alex Bowman fan. Okay? 100%. If he wins a race this year, I'm okay with that. I'm going to be jubilant, excited. I'm going to be the most annoying person in our group chat. You will never hear the end of it. Okay? If he does not win a race this year, I'm okay with that. If they announce him to a contract extension for 2027 or maybe beyond, I will be beyond ecstatic, because I know that even if he doesn't win a race in 2026, he can focus on his health and getting back to 100% so he can come back next season and maybe the season beyond and prove himself and go out and win races and be a top tier driver and be maybe a championship contender. What about you, Eli?
So after this one, I'm gonna go ahead and back out due to unforeseen circumstances. Uh, I'll just leave this here. Alex Bowman is the weak link of Hendrick. Okay, I think you can even agree with that as a Hendrick fan. With that being said, I don't know who you fulfill. I don't know the sponsorship extensions, just because Ally is such a complicated one to understand from what I've been told. Um, but other than that, I'm definitely looking more for an extension than a replacement. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of here, guys. So y'all have a great podcast, okay?
No, you're good, buddy. Take care, all right?
All right, later, buddy.
All right. Well, with that being said, very well said by Eli. I mean, I understand where he's coming from. We're going to move into our recap segment, so that way we don't try to waste a whole lot of time. They raced at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle, this past weekend.
Hey, I was there.
Hey. So yeah, we'll start with you. The O'Reilly Series race on Saturday. Obviously, Justin Allgaier won. Junior Motorsports just absolutely dominating this year. I didn't see. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't see a lap of the race because I was out at Braves Country Fest seeing Ella Langley and Cody Johnson on Saturday, which was amazing, by the way. But Ryan, give us your standpoint on what the race was like for the O'Reilly Series.
Yeah. So the race was definitely got off to a very very jolting start, as we didn't even really make it through the first corner before we had our first incident of the day, and really I feel like the end result that a lot of us came away from was we're just feeling like, okay, it was a solid race. Obviously, the winner was kind of predictable, and then the other thing that seemed to be a common sentiment amongst the fans I talked to on our way out was it was a lot of cautions, but we also come to expect that from this series specifically. So, yeah, are we really overly surprised by the fact that there were a lot of caution flags? I don't know the exact number of caution laps. I don't know if we ran like something I've normally tracked on a week to week basis. Did we go a full stage worth of caution laps? Because most weeks it feels like we do. And most weeks I have that number right in front of me, but when I'm in the grandstands, I'm not really sure how many caution laps we actually ran. But yeah, that was kind of the biggest thing from the caution period that really kind of left me was just the amount of cautions that happened that kind of made the race feel like it took longer than it should have.
Okay. I got it pulled up right in front of me. It had a new track record, 10 cautions, 18 lead changes, 39 caution laps.
Yeah, so as I said, usually going at about a stage to stage and a half worth of yellow flag laps, which just makes the race kind of drag a little bit further.
Yep. Average speed of the race was 99 miles an hour.
Yeah, again, when they were racing,
according
they were
to
going fast.
J-Ski.
When they were racing, they weren't slow when they were racing. It's just a matter of actually getting going.
Yeah. What about you, JP?
All right. So I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. Because CW, man, watching the race, it was a good race. And why, most of the CWs went to basketball when the race was technically still going on. And had to watch it online to finish watching it. So that was a little bit annoying on the CW side of things. But like I said, it was a good race. I didn't care for all the caution laps, but I mean, safety is safety. We say it, and there's probably door bumper clear that says it all the time. Safety is number one priority.
Yeah, so I think the thing that would make it at least a little better, especially for those of us at the track, would be if we just didn't count the laps during the stage cautions. Obviously, if you don't count laps during any of the cautions, these races would take all night long. But that way, we at least then get some more racing in, rather than having 4, 5, 6 laps under the stage caution that end up just disappearing.
I've been saying that for years.
Yeah,
we do not need to count laps during stage yellows.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of the opinion, I'm not even sure we need the stage yellow, but obviously that is something that they tried at the road courses for like half a year and then went back on it.
Yeah. Because it pisses me off when they take the green and checker to end the stage and then they come back around and take another lap, and technically that's the first lap of whatever stage they're on, and then they're like, oh, well, it's the green flag to start stage 2 or 3, and I'm like, no, it's not. We're already 6 or 7 laps in.
Yeah, well, and another thing that I'll mention when it comes to the stage cautions is the fact that it also amplifies, and it's more so at the road courses like we will get to with San Diego, but at Pocono, I had some friends who were at their very first NASCAR race, and I was having to explain why all these drivers were jumping onto pit road 2, 3, 4 laps before the caution came out, rather than staying out to lead the race.
Yep.
And well, yeah, it is not the easiest thing to explain in the world because, well, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
If you don't know how NASCAR racing works, obviously, with all of us, we've kind of grown up with it. We know that, oh yeah, if you have an opportunity to pit and you know there's a caution flag coming, why not get your fuel and tires now and then cycle to the front with some track position after the caution.
Right. Well, moving on to the Cup race. Denny Hamlin is at it again. Remember when I said at the beginning of the season, after everything that happened during the off season with him and his dad and all that good stuff, that he was going to be out on a revenge tour and out for blood? Well, that has come true. Denny Hamlin wins his third race in a row. Third race in a row from the pole. Two of them he got the pole but had to start at the back due to unapproved adjustments or jumping the start at Nashville. But Denny Hamlin is on an absolute heater right now. In my opinion, I think he is the championship favorite because of this chase format that we have that has come back. I think it was 3 or 4 races ago, he was 122 points out of the points lead. Leaving Pocono, he is 19 points out of the points lead. He has shaved 110 points off of Tyler Reddick's lead.
Yeah, but we're going to say the other thing to remember, though, is that we are about to go into 2 back-to-back races that are not Hamlin's strong suit with the road courses.
That is true.
Versus we've been racing a lot of Hamlin and, in particular, Joe Gibbs friendly tracks the last few weeks.
Yeah, but
and Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota as a whole are way above and beyond the class of the field right now.
Yeah. Well, Toyota just in general, because
exactly.
If you look at the finishing order, the top 6, 1, 2, 3, 4 were Toyotas, and that includes the Legacy Motor Club cars of John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones.
Yep.
Which I didn't expect John Hunter Nemechek to lead as many laps as he did. He led 42 on Sunday. But typical Pocono race, they get strung out, all that. It's not really that enjoyable, but all of the strategies that were playing out on Sunday as far as fuel, tires, whatever, I have to give my flowers to Christopher Bell, who was racing with a broken wrist after his absolute beast of a crash at Michigan last week. I have to give props to him, and he's going to, as far as I know, going to at least start the race at San Diego this weekend, which is going to be very difficult to race with a broken wrist, especially one that has a cast on. But starting with Ryan, because you were there, what were your thoughts just overall? Let me backtrack. Well, no, I can't backtrack because you were there. You can't really give an opinion on it. This will be a 2-parter, mainly from me and JP. But Ryan, what were your thoughts on the race on Sunday?
All things considered, I felt like the race was a really good one. We had a good run to the. We had a good race all the way through the finish of it. It was a packed house. I mean, there were not many seats that weren't filled, and in fact, it was a sellout, a complete and total sellout of the grandstand seating and infield camping area. So, in terms of ticket sales, an absolute win for Pocono.
Yep. Well, that goes back to the whole, one race. Like, certain tracks get one date a year, and I mean, this honestly could be a whole podcast when I ask this question too. But like, should certain tracks have just one date? Because like, if I'm not mistaken, I heard on Door Bumper Clear this was the 4th consecutive sellout for NASCAR at a track this year, and all of those tracks have one date.
Well, yeah, and again, the other thing being that, yeah, of course, four consecutive single race dates. It also theoretically should allow NASCAR to spread their influence out. Obviously, that's where I kind of have a bit of a problem with some of the schedule, where it's like, okay, we're making some of the right moves and going down to a one or two. We're cutting a lot of tracks from two races to one, but then we're replacing them with another North Carolina race or another Southeast race at the very least. And it's like, okay, can we try and expand outside of the Southeast where we clearly have a dominance, and a clear hold on the market?
Yeah. Uh, what about you, JP?
All right. So I I honestly thought the cup race was very interesting. Um, to the viewer, uh, props to the Connie of Bell. He tried to win the race off Pitbull's strategy, but it didn't pan out. But it almost panned out for him, and he raced his guts out with that injury. So very, very well done for him.
Yeah, no doubt. I saw on social media that his. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw it, whether on live or in replay or highlights. His crash in Michigan was just devastating. Like him and Chase Elliott literally broke the safer barrier. They had to go into red flag to repair the wall, and I saw that his crash registered at 63 Gs, which is the hardest impact of the next gen era. Beating
Well,
Ryan.
I think it was what, third all time on recorded finishes.
Yeah, yeah, third all time, and as far as impacts, but the hardest of the next gen era. It beat Ryan
Yeah.
Blaney's impact at Daytona a couple years ago when he went head on into the turn four wall. Just absolute amazing props to him for wanting to get in that car and gut out 400 miles at Pocono, where you're having to drive and downshift and upshift at the same time. Just absolutely insane. But before we move into our next segment, going back to the Denny Hamlin, he now has 64 wins. So last week he tied Kyle Busch on the all-time wins list at
Yep.
63, and then this week he passed Kyle Busch for ninth all-time. He has sole possession of ninth all-time on the all-time wins list at 64. And if
That is a fact, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, I don't know if you guys can see it up top. The title, it says Denny Hamlin, a GOAT. I know he hasn't won a Daytona, or no, he has won a Daytona 500. He's won 3 of them. Sorry. I know he hasn't won a championship, but with him being in the top 10 on the all-time wins list, starting with Ryan, would you consider Denny Hamlin as one of the greatest of all time?
One of the greatest of all time. I guess it depends on how many you can consider in the one of the greatest of all time. Say obviously when you talk about greatest drivers to never win a championship, if he doesn't get one, I think he probably does have sole possession of that at this point. Although, obviously, in recent years, the conversation has been about how close he was, if not already passing Mark Martin for that mark. But at this point, I think he has cleared Mark Martin for the greatest driver to not win a championship. Again, it comes down to just how many drivers are you willing to put in the GOAT slash a GOAT conversation. Because, like, Kyle Busch, the guy he just passed, I know at least at times in his career, people were talking about him as, okay, do you put him, like, where do you rank him in terms of, like, how close to that Mount Rushmore of NASCAR drivers? Obviously, he wasn't one of the four best. He wouldn't make that Mount Rushmore, but did he have a case to maybe make it up to sixth, seventh? Yeah, on that list. I think Denny Hamlin, it's going to be a lot harder to make those arguments without any sort of without a championship to his name.
Right. JP, what about you?
All right. So, do I think Denny Hamlin is the best driver of all time? Hmm.
There's I don't think anyone's saying that he is the best.
Well, let's just look at it scientifically, and and I'm saying that he considered one of the best active drivers to this decade I have ever seen, and I predict he's going to be at 85 wins by the end of the season.
85 by the end of this season?
80. So hold on. He has 64 wins.
That means 21
So
more wins.
So
this year.
He literally needs to win every race the entire rest of the season. Do you want to rephrase that, JP? Seriously, do you want to rephrase that? There is no way Denny Hamlin wins 21 races in a row to get 85. No possible way.
Not with three super speedway races
and 2 road courses.
3 road courses. Don't they have 3 road courses remaining, or is it just 2?
Well, I know they got this weekend and then Sonoma next week.
They have 2 in a row.
The Roval's gone.
Yeah, but don't they? I thought they still had a third one coming after Sonoma.
I'll check the schedule, but JP, while I look that up, please rephrase because I'm about to fall out of my chair laughing right now.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't have another one. So it's only 2 road courses left.
Realistically, he might be at 70 wins.
70 is still high, but it certainly is more sane.
Well, 70 is more feasible than 85.
Well, yeah. 65 is more reasonable than 85.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord. That might be the wildest thing ever said on this podcast.
Do we need to remind people that JP did pick Corey LaJoie for a cup championship?
I think that tops Corey LaJoie winning the championship.
Really?
My head is spinning from that comment right now.
I think within the next, I think if you give Denny Hamlin this season and next season, I think there's a realistic scenario where he could be challenging Dale Senior's spot on the all-time wins list at 76. I think if you take the rest of this year and next year, I think, assuming that he keeps up the pace he's on, that he'll at least be getting close to challenging that one.
Yeah, I would say that's a little bit better, honestly. A
And
little bit
again, I
better.
think once you pass Dale Earnhardt Sr. on wins, I think then you can probably start to maybe ask the question about whether or not he is one of the goats. But for me, I think it's without a championship and without without the championship, it's really hard to call him. And again, my question being, how many wins or how many drivers do you count in the GOAT conversation?
Right. Well, with that,
Because again, if you're counting the GOAT conversation as like, okay, the top 5 greatest, yeah, no, you need a championship, I think, to get in that top 5.
yeah,
Top 10 greatest of all time? Yeah, you could probably get in the. You might be able to find a way to fit Denny Hamlin in at number 9 or 10.
yeah. Well, with that being said, because I need a moment to just collect my thoughts, we are going to go into our next segment. We've been doing this this year. Instead of green flags and black flags, this is going to be a segment called Idiots of the Weekend. And and for our listeners out there, if you have not seen this before, this is something over the course of the weekend whether it's NASCAR, F1, IndyCar, your local dirt track, something, whatever, just absolutely idiotic that you saw over the weekend. So we will kick it off with Ryan.
All right. Well, mine's not going to be as much idiotic as it's going to be just absolute jaw-dropping stunning. And for anyone who wasn't watching, who didn't watch the Formula One race, uh, one second, let me pull up exactly which drivers were involved so I don't misname anybody.
Are you talking about
Um,
the Kimi Antonelli DNF where he had the debris go through his bathtub?
um, yeah, was that Antonelli? Was no, wait, no, it was Hulkenberg.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, Nico Hulkenberg was running in behind Liam Lawson in turn 12, where Lawson ran wide, kicked up some gravel, which proceeded to hit the engine kill switch on Nico Hulkenberg's race car, shutting his engine down. Like, you could run that 1,000 times out of 1,000, and you would not be able to replicate that gravel turning off the engine.
No, no. But before we get to JP, speaking of F1, let's go ahead and give props to Lewis Hamilton for winning this past weekend in the Ferrari. I think it was his first win in a couple years, and it was the 250th win for the Ferrari engine overall.
Nice.
Yep. JP, do you have anything idiotic from this past weekend?
His comment from
Oh,
5 minutes ago?
uh, so, uh, so yeah, actually, I do, and it's going to go to, um, again, I said it earlier in this podcast, but I was really upset with the CW in my area pulling the race off for basketball, for gold basketball. That was not too impressive to me.
Oh, I can respect that. All right, I have two. Number one goes to Ty Gibbs and his pit crew from the Cup race on Sunday. One, they left a wheel loose. He had to come back in, and on the next consecutive pit stop, he slid through his box, cost himself a good position. Number 2, it extends beyond the weekend. But JP, what are we thinking, dude? Seriously, I'm sorry, but you are my idiot of the weekend. 85 wins for Hamlin by the end of 2026. Like, seriously? Seriously? Oh my Lord in heaven, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
My God.
Oh.
It would require him literally winning out the entire remainder of the year.
I'm going to make sure to put that in the YouTube description and hope that this video or this podcast gets the most views out of everyone we've posted so far. Well, we are going to go into our final segment of the weekend, or the day, if you will. They are racing at San Diego Naval Coronado Base this weekend. I don't know about you guys, but I am truly excited for this race. It is a new track. It's a road course. I'm not very keen on road courses or street courses, if you will. But I feel like this one has a different vibe to it, just because of how they've been promoting it. And, you know, America is celebrating its 250th birthday this year. They made a mini movie that's on Amazon Prime Video if you guys want to go watch it. It just, everything around it, from, you know, the promotion to the mini movie to the paint schemes, it kind of, to me, I don't know about you guys, I'll get your guys' opinion in a second, but to me it feels like the promotion and the vibe is somewhat that of the Coca-Cola 600. I'm like truly hyped for this race. I'm super interested and excited to see what's in store. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm super excited to see all that the Naval Base Coronado is going to have to offer. I mean, from from just the overall look of it to the quality of the racing, I think is going to be great. I just hope, because I did watch the the Coca-Cola iRacing series at Naval Base Coronado. I hope that some of the views are a little bit better than what it was shown in the iRacing scan, because some of the kind of views were a little bit lacking just from too much of the tall fences kind of blocking what would have been good views potentially. Obviously, I know you have to have X amount of steel fencing to keep the cars safe, and safety shouldn't be compromised for a view. I just hope we can find a good balance that provides good view and good views for the TV audience, and a good racing quality.
Right. No, well, I mean, with it being Prime Video and all that stuff, I'm sure that they'll do a good job, which that's another topic. We'll probably talk about it next week. But
Yeah, once we've had our final Prime race.
yeah, I'm going to be sad to see Prime go after this weekend. Like we said last year, they do such a good job as far as the camera angles, the video, the commentators, the booth, pit road,
Don't we keep
pre-race, post-race.
Don't we keep the same commentator crew through the TNT portion too, though?
Yes, but that's on cable TV. So when it goes back to cable for Sonoma, we're most likely not going to get a very good pre-race or post-race. Prime Video, they don't have a set mark for pre-race and post-race. They could literally go as long as they wanted to. And that I absolutely love that, because it takes me back to the old days of Fox and TNT, CBS, whoever carried the race. They gave us extensive coverage of pre-race and post-race. And
yeah,
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that is definitely something that's going to be lost. But I just heard you talking about how, oh yeah, after this week we're going to lose our we're going to lose kind of the commentary, and it's like, well, the commentators aren't changing.
Well,
But yeah,
not necessarily commentators, just the coverage overall. You know, it's going back to
yeah,
cable TV. You know, cable has a timetable and a window that they have to get it in and all that good stuff. So it's gonna kind of suck, if I'm being honest.
yeah. I mean,
But
ultimately, yeah, I would love maybe for one of these days for Prime to try and make a bid for the full season, but
that would be amazing.
it would, but the difference in price for a full for one broadcaster to buy the full season versus a broadcast or being one of four. Yeah, I mean that number to equal out to the same amount would just take so much.
No, I get it. Um,
Yeah, that would be a lot of
one
money to spend.
yeah, one other thing that we will touch on next week, going into Sonoma, is the in-season bracket tournament. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention so that way y'all are thinking about it. The bracket has been set, so just be thinking about that going into the next week. But
Yep.
JP, give your thoughts. What are you looking forward to this weekend as far as Naval Coronado?
Alright, so what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to seeing 7 time in the Quick Series this weekend, along with Jamie McMurray. Those two drivers back in a NASCAR field together. Man, what a show that's going to be. And then Jimmy Johnson. You know, I I honestly feel like with his team, the way they've been performing, the boss is getting in the race car this weekend at a very, very hot, and I mean soaking hot time for his race team. And looking at this weekend, um, I I really feel like the 84 and Jimmy Johnson in particular will have a decent one because he'll be home. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, no,
One
no.
other thing that we didn't, I don't remember if we talked much about in the, or if the news broke after the last episode, but um, Kevin Magnuson in the Project 91 car is going to be a really cool thing to see, too.
Yep, yep, yeah. I failed to mention that one. No, it's you bring up Jimmy Johnson. He's actually pulling like you said double duty this weekend. He's running the
Which
truck
most
race.
drivers aren't allowed to do double duty, which makes for a very interesting truck O'Reilly field.
Right, right. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson is doing the truck race and the cup race. Uh,
He's one of two
NAS,
drivers who got permission to do double.
yep, NASCAR allowed Austin Hill to run the O'Reilly race and the cup race because of the 33-8 situation. It's still technically a chartered car. Um, so, yeah, and one thing that we failed to mention, Brendan Gaughan will be running the truck race this weekend as well.
Brendan no longer gone.
Yeah, yep, he's back. But with that being said, it is time for picks. I am sorry that I've been lacking on posting updates as far as points. I will get that done as soon as tomorrow and let you guys know who is where. Pretty sure that Ryan is going to still be holding a commanding points lead going into San Diego. But we are going to go into our first wheel spin of the night. And it will go to.
Well, I
Well,
do have a trivia question as well, just reminding you.
JP.
Ooh.
Yay!
All right, let's hear JP's bold prediction here.
Alright,
Won't be his
the,
boldest one of the night.
the bold prediction for San Diego is the number 91 has been fast every time it's been on the field, on the grid. So I guess I'm taking Project 91.
Kevin Magnuson. Okay.
All right, that's a bold choice.
That is very bold. Very, very bold. Next pick goes to me. Sorry, boys, but I am taking the low-hanging fruit on this one. I'm burning up my second pick for him of the year. I'm taking SVG. I have to. I won picks this past week. I got to win this week.
Do we have the bigger thing I want to know is how many picks I have left of everybody, or like who am I out of and whatnot? Because that's the harder part.
I do not have that in front of me right now.
Yeah, trying to make
honestly,
predictions. Yeah, because trying to make predictions and trying to make sure I'm not using the same guy twice has been a real challenge.
No, I understand. I've been lacking on trying to keep up with who has picked what. So if you pick the same driver more than 2 times, it's okay because that I'll take the heat on that one. So third pick goes to Ryan.
Fucking surprise! Let's see. You guys kind of, well, as I say, the SVG was kind of the low-hanging fruit. I was kind of hoping that I might be able to snag him, but I mean, is it really that bold of a prediction to say Reddick could be an interesting choice here?
No, I mean he's pretty good on road courses.
Yeah, as I say, I think I might have used him 2, maybe even 3 times at this point, but
well, that's okay. I'll let you have it.
yeah. I'll say if I get a free Tyler Reddick, I will take it.
All right. Well, we have one more. I will get the rest of the picks this week, as you guys all already know. But before we close out the show, we do have another rousing edition of trivia. Now, obviously we don't know what Ryan has picked for us. Jamie is not with us here tonight. I'm pretty sure we don't have a trivia question based on this weekend's race because it is a new racetrack. So
I actually did manage to make it based on this weekend race.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I am intrigued now. So, Ryan, whenever you're ready, fire away.
All right. So, in recent years, one driver has kind of stood out amongst a lot of other drivers for his ability to win inaugural events. That driver being Joey Logano. But just how many inaugural events has Joey Logano won in his cup career?
Okay.
So we're just talking Cup Series. How many inaugural events has Joey Logano been able to claim victory at?
All right. So just to clarify for JP, that is just like the first race at a track, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say 3.
All right.
JP?
I'm going to say 4.
All right.
All right. The answer was 3. He claimed the inaugural win at the Gateway Motorsports Park, the 2022 Clash at the Coliseum, and the 2021 Bristol Dirt. He claimed the first all 3 of those inaugural events he was able to claim victory at.
Let's go. All right.
So
that,
let's see if he can make it number 4 today. Or not today, but this week.
Yep. All right. Well, that means I get the bonus point. I'm on a heater, boys. All right.
Yep.
Well,
I figured that was probably the closest thing we were going to get to a question based on a brand new track that hasn't been raced before.
right. No, that was a great question. But that is going to close out our show. Eli had to leave us early. He's been pretty sick this week. Our thoughts and prayers are with him. But as always, a special thank you to Circle B Diecast for sponsoring this podcast. Please use promo code LAPDOWN at checkout for $5 off your order. That's all I got. So until next time, for JP, Ryan, and the aforementioned Eli, I am Greg. This has been the Lap Down, and we will see you guys right after San Diego with what I'm sure we will have lots to talk about. Peace.
Oh, yeah.